Hello everyone, we got another trailer, the Gotti trailer, and I mean I was hesitant to make a video on this. Is why this is days old, right? I think a couple of days ago this came out now, um, and yeah, that's just because people were being twats in the comment section. The last one, this is my opinion. I think there's genuine issues with this game I need addressing. I don't think we should just accept these character changes, retcons essentially, and if anyone tries to argue that they're not retcons, you're a fucking dumbass. Yeah, I think there's fundamental problems with the changing the characters' stories. My issues kind of go as far as that with this trailer. I think this is the best trailer we had so far, and it's made just because of the characters that are in it. These are three characters I really love, and that simultaneously makes me really upset because they're not the characters I love. They changed their lore and shit. On the bright side, they seem to be like on the right alignment. I think their personalities are all going to be solid. Not so sure on Tanya, but yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, we'll just do what we did last time. We'll cover the trailer. Have I got audio? We have sound. Owl looks nice. That's one thing I will give this. It's not good, and I think this trailer kind of confirmed this when you just see Tanya's from Outworld. We'll cover the bios after, like we did with the last one. But yeah, Outworld looks really nice. I don't think it's worth the trade-off of having such this good Outworld depiction with a lot of variety and very colourful, not just desert. Like genuine variety. I know there's one with the purple sky as well. It might be like the night sky's purple, which I'm cool with. I'm cool with it not just always being purple. As long as we get some purple sky, I feel like everyone just universally agrees, yeah, the sky should be fucking purple at some point, right? And I think it is in that one stage, which was like some festival thing. Everything we see of it is really cool. I remember thinking this was a Denia initially, and that's the thing. This does just feel like bootleg Denia. This feels like this is all effort that could have just gone into finally showing off another realm. But yeah, I firmly believe that the other realms don't exist in this timeline, and by that I mean any realm that Shao Kahn merged. And the reason for that is simply that is convenient. Again, these aren't story changes that are beneficial to the story. They're beneficial to the writers, specifically. Because now they don't have to care about the other realms. Right? They just do whatever the fuck they want. And it doesn't matter. Right? With this reboot. And one thing is just, we'll get rid of all the realms. And yeah, this is because obviously Shao Kahn's reign hasn't happened yet. This game seemingly having him try and start an uprising, which is 100% a role that should go to Reiko, not Shao Kahn. I literally wrote it in MK Reborn, a fanfic. I had, after Shao Kahn's defeat, Reiko tries to do an uprising. Because Reiko's supposed to be a mini Shao Kahn. I think it's, of the character clones, Reiko's one that's supposed to actually be that. And we'll get to him because he was also revealed. Not like a proper trailer, but a story trailer. Natara also revealed in like a Link Way trailer because like a vampire that swoops in on smoke. It's from like her perspective, Natara FPS. So don't see her, but like always see vampire stuff. It's all tying into the leak, so it's not surprising. But yeah, it is a shame because Khan's Rule hasn't happened yet. The merger's not happened. As a result, they don't want to show off any of the other realms because that would require effort. And I get it. I get a challenge it would be to show off all the realms. But you don't have to. It's not like they show off Chaos Realm or Order Realm, which they should really. Hamlet's going to be in this game. But I don't think Chaos Realm will be shown within. It wasn't in the comics. So, but yeah, they don't have to show them all off. Cause I guess like a tall order, right? Because you got Arniak, you got the Oshtek realm. I don't know why I thought of them first. Most of it over, you go Nada, Edenia, obviously, Zatera, Faturnus. probably forgetting some of this. But yeah, there's a lot, and there's probably a lot that we don't even know of have emerged. So yeah, it's a lot to cover. It really is. But I think that's just fat lazy. If you're going to, you're gonna do this new timeline, and in this reboot, you specifically decided to just act like Outworld was everything naturally. I don't know if the other ones are mentioned. Like maybe they're like kingdoms of Outworld. That's just a theory. I don't think it is because they only mention Outworld. And Sundo's the capital of the realm or something, which is completely inaccurate. We'll get to that. But yeah, I think it's fundamentally bad. It's fundamentally limiting your franchise. You know, like there's no benefit of it, right? I bet there's gonna be like someone who tries to defend it by saying, well, we'll go back to its roots with the simple three realms. We've been stuck to that for the past 3 games because I don't want to show off any of the rest of the world. The 3D era, Deception especially, focused on expanding the MK universe, now just narrowing it down because of how they handle the story modes. They're shit doing it. How the writers are just they don't have any creativity whatsoever. So yeah, they just changed stuff, and I don't see any justification that's valid for any of these changes. I really don't. Again, that's always my biggest concern with this game. That's my main issue. It's a reboot, shouldn't happen, and now it's even as I imagined, because I thought, oh, reboot, we're just going to do the same thing again. But no, it's worse because we're not even doing anything that resembles MK. And people tried telling me, oh, you want the same thing over and over again? Fucking no! I hate the tournament stories. There hasn't been a single good tournament storyline. None of the tournaments have made sense in MK. You think I want another one of those? Fuck no. I do not want that. I do not want that. I'm saying they shouldn't have rebooted in the first place. They didn't have to. And you go, well, MK11 ending set up. MK11 shouldn't have done that in the first place. If you keep going back, it's so that's the fundamental point that they shouldn't have set this up in the first place. There is no reason why this reboot should be happening. I know, it doesn't even ease people into the franchise because they're changing all the lore. Right, you get into the franchise, and now you have completely different information on the characters than everyone else. Because they change everything. You know? So now you're just going to create more confusion. And yeah, another timeline, a third main timeline. What a joke. What a stupid decision. There was no excuses for it. None at all. That you have a 10-year, 3 games in that time, just 3 for one timeline. That is unacceptable. So why check out this new time? Because they'll reset inevitably, right? They'll do another one because people aren't going to accept these changes. I assure you, people won't. People are right now. But we're going to that time where all this new stuff gets stale and people are going to ask for the old stuff because the old stuff is better for the most part, right? Like not universally so, right? And I've heard people saying I'm biased to 3D era or other shit. That doesn't make sense because I started with MK9 and that's my least favourite game up until this one. I just look at it without any nostalgia bias or anything, and I just like what I like. And I dislike what I don't like. I've critiqued every single game, you know? I have issues with every single game. It's just the 3D era is the closest to perfection. I have the most positive things to say. This, I do not. You know, I've covered the gameplay before. This trailer, it seems like there's some fun movesets going on with the 3 characters, except Tanya's. Tanya's could just be a new character, honestly. Look, let's get into it, you know? Again, this is like a denim, the characters and shit. This is, again, purple and shit. This is just, I mean, purple's like the outer colour, but it's like that Sindel colour palette, and that's why everyone thought, oh, it's like Sindel's palette in Edemia. Nope, it's just Outworld. It is just Outworld. And some Guardi lore, literally, like they watched Black Panther. I haven't even watched it, but I know I could tell. And they watched Black Panther and thought, oh, we can steal their ideas. None of this stands out. It's all generic. It's all so bland. You've managed to... You've got this Outworld. This Outworld has so much more variety, right? In terms of locations. But you've made every other character generic. The only character I think will benefit, maybe, is Reptile. And I say that because the Saurians aren't endangered, at least I assume. That's like the only thing I can see being positive, because his reptile will have a different role. He will have a different goal for the first time ever. Instead of just, oh, I'm going to serve the evil guy, the big bad, because he made a promise that he obviously can't keep. But I don't care, I'm Reptile. Right, Reptile's so fucking boring. And actually, this guy returned because all Poppy and Energy character. So yeah, he's one that I'd welcome a lot of changes for. It depends what changes they make, though. That's the thing. I'm open to changes. I'm even open to just flower retcons, right? If there's a reason for it. There's no reason for any of these. Oh man, and God, like, why? What does this add to Lee May? And you could argue force that for it because they mentioned Ungodly like 10 fucking times in this trailer. And firstly, design. It's fucking shit, honestly. It's even more bland than her MKX design. If they got her the black vest or just swap the colours of the black and the purple, it'd be fine. Because it looks like it's kind of like a Dead Alliance primary under that. But yeah, it's just like this black vest thing. Look at that. It's not terrible. It's fine. But it doesn't stand out. You know? And again, I don't think there's customization in this game, which is a massive shame. Again, I feel like MK12 is regressing on everything MK11 did just because people didn't like the game. So instead of looking at the genuine positives that even I have given that game, they're just trying to simplify everything. No variations, no customized, whatever. I know there's a lot of alts because we've seen Kenshi have like 5 already, but man, the costumes aren't good, honestly. There have been very few good ones. I do like that the Sub-Zero cameo has the ice shaker. That was something I was hoping for. I really like that, actually. And I like watching her, you know. I like watching this gameplay, you know. This 3D character who hasn't returned, ever, you know, since the 3D era. Obviously, she was in old 3D era games. But this 3D era icon, right, who was for some reason neglected from like the past trilogy, finally comes back, right? And she has a special moves intact. That's why I was worried about that they just fully changed it because it's been a long time. But no, they having her stuff like the cartwheel kick. Her fatality. I don't care for fatalities, but there's a creative one where you like use like a firework thing, and that's like a callback to the fact that her projectile is the sparkler before it became Nova Blast. My only criticism is that it's just purple energy now, rather than that light blue energy. But I get it, because she doesn't even have much purple on it anymore. So, I mean, it looks better for this game. But yeah. Also that is her Day Alliance throw, but kick, and then going over, that is what she had in Day Alliance. I think that's really cool to see stuff like that. Also, she can make a spirit thing. I don't know what's up with that. I'm not even sure what animal it is. I don't necessarily hate it. I think she makes 2 animals, actually. A Fatal Blow is a different one, I think. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't really like characters saying, oh, this is my animal thing. But it's like, it's her energy magic. If she can just conjure up anything, then sure, I guess. I just think that's an odd new thing to give her, but I'm not really against it. As long as she doesn't turn into an animal like Kotal did in MK11 for some reason. It just became a... And yeah, this is Tanya.
Let us pass, Tanya. The Empress and her family are in danger. Are you so eager?
I really don't like her. Design-wise, I mean, I don't like her design. I don't know what's going on with this headpiece thing. Her head looks like a fucking spider. At first I was like, oh, these designs are fine for this game standard. I would say Chameleon at the back there looks really cool. And this seems to be just a story cutscene, so presumably Chameleon's in the story, which is interesting because she is going to be DLC. She's going to be in the Kombat pack. According to leaks. Leaks that were confirmed because we had the Kombat pack trailer that was accurate to those leaks. The Amazon leaks. I guess you can talk about the Kombat pack as well. We'll get to that. But yeah, I don't like this look at all. Again, I don't really like any designs in this game. They're like fine at best. I think this one is. At least like the costume there, it's like okay. Again, I wish there was a bit more yellow or gold. And the moveset's what really annoys me here. Because it doesn't feel like Tanya. And no character feels like themselves really, but at least in the gameplay, it's like, yeah, that's definitely Sub-Zero, that's definitely Scorpion, you know. Tanya is just not herself. She has the human candle, yeah, like that, and that's genuinely it. I think that's all of her classic moves, I think. She's still got like that kind of gymnast, like agility and shit. But you see that free staff weapon? She didn't need another weapon, did she? She had like, she's already got like three. It's a cool weapon. And also her powers are different. Like, this is not fire, right? This is like some other energy, like a yellow energy thing. And I think there's more characters with energy powers than there are fire powers. Because when I wrote Reborn, there's so many characters where I just describe their powers as an energy. And it's like, but this seems very repetitive, but it's like, but there's nothing else to call it. Unless I gave it like some specific contrived name. Like an Umgadi.
Are you unwell, princess?
Yeah, kind of wholesome. I assume they're a couple. I assume. And also Rain in the back, that smug look.
I'm fine, Tanya.
I like the release on the hero side. For now. Because that's the thing, that seems like there's more characters who are starting off on the good side because of Sindel, you know, the allies and their allies to Earth. Or Sindel, we haven't seen it yet. She seems shady as fuck, considering you get banished if you're a Tarkatan, right? There's just a lot of these old-fashioned, like, shit, like some medieval time shit with Outward here. Which isn't unusual, but, yeah. That's what I hate that. Baraka, the man, the homie. Again, these are three characters I fucking love, right? I really do love Lee May, Tanya, and Baraka. I think they're three great picks. I think the roster is only the best varied roster in an NRS game, right? And it's got a base roster 24, you know, so like most varied roster since 2004 Deception. I mean, Armageddon obviously, but I feel like that you can't count that. That's everyone, so no shit. But yeah, I mean, this also has a 24 base roster, like Deception. The roster, I mean, judging by the leagues, it's not on Deception's level, in my opinion. And I mean, this whole trailer just made me feel like, oh, I really want to go back and play Deception. Because it's three guys who are in Deception, and Darius as a cameo. And I don't mean that as a knock, like, I genuinely just, like, saw Darius and like, man, I want to go back to Deception right now. So that's the thing, it doesn't make me interested in this game and, like, trying this game. Even though, like, I saw a lot of cool specials and moves and shit. I like the air combat returning for this game. And that's as far as, like, my praise for the gameplay goes, honestly, because I've seen that stress test footage. There's a lot of bullshit. I think the cameos will just be a very annoying. And considering how few slots are and how many are being taken up by characters who are already on the base roster, I don't think it's going to offer that many obscure picks. Darius is like the first one that feels actually out there. The rest are like, well, these are characters who are in most games, except Sector and Cyrax, who should just be in this game. It is insane how Cyrax was missing out on another game. But I digress. Baraka. Firstly, I'm very interested in seeing this Baraka personality. I was very worried at first because of this line.
It disfigures, then debilitates. In time, it will turn us all into bloodthirsty monsters. Death is our only release.
Which, one, makes it sound suicidal. Two, that makes it sound like, oh, we're going back to the old Tarkans, but they're just monsters. He literally says monsters. And I was super concerned when I first saw this. But, I mean, I looked at bio, and a friend pointed out, this seems still in line with MK11's portrayal of Tarkans, except just now with the retcon law, which doesn't justify it, which the context Tarkat is a disease. This is like the big retcon, it feels. This is like the big change. Because, I mean, it affects Melina, you know. It's the context for Melina, it's the context for Baraka now, it's the context for an entire race. The game looks cool. And here's the thing of Baraka. He looks fucking awesome here, right? In terms of gameplay. His design's one of his weaker ones, honestly, when you look at it up close. In-game here, it looks fine, I think. But when you see the render, it looks like shit. He looks crusty. Crustier than like his 3DR face, you know? Crusty looking guy. And And then just the costumes is kind of meh. You know, it's just dull colours and not much red. And again, it's why I'm very concerned because there's a lack of customization in this game, which is why seeing these costumes doesn't matter. Before you just weren't going to pick the default costume anyway. But now I don't think you have options. It's just alts again. But yeah, Baraka's a character you can't make uncool. That's the thing. That's why my praise is going to go so far because, wow, you didn't fuck up Baraka's badassness. Like, yeah, wow. Of course they couldn't. I like the blade effects, but I think they're too much, honestly. Like when I first saw it, I was like, wow, that's so cool. But you can hardly see his blades now. Right? It looks more like an energy thing. He's got more powers rather than, oh, it's blade effect. Johnny's another weird one. I mean, this one's much cooler than Johnny's, but Johnny has like this black, like line effect, like a comic book effect or whatever, going around him. And that's kind of like a visual indicator that, oh, he moves fast. Like, that's pretty shit. And he doesn't have his powers, by the way. Johnny's one who just doesn't have his powers. Baraka obviously doesn't have powers himself. And that's another one. The flying fist Li Mei had there. Cool to see him back in some way. Again, I guess that was the Nova Blast / Sparkler. You kind of saw like fireworks off there, so I think they have, you know. And Doris is here with that throw. I wish he did a power bomb, but that's still cool seeing that. I wish he had his power bomb there for sure. Because that was like one of the coolest throws in the franchise. You know, like Darius's power bomb. Especially in like the GameCube version where you could do it to, I think it was like a Goro and Shao Kahn. Skip this. Oh yeah, it's just all violence, and we aren't watching that. Yeah, let's look at the Kombat Pack trailer real quick. Please get my voice. I didn't even realize that was voice first. I'm going to listen to this for sound for. Look, guys, it's Omni-Man. Don't give a fuck about the guests. And I don't even know how they're going to diversify Omni-Man and Homelander. Homelander, I think, is the worst character in fiction, genuinely. I cannot fucking stand him. Peacemaker is such a shit DC pick. Genuinely, like, one of the worst picks you make. What a shit character. Let's be honest here. He's just a guy with guns, and he has that shitty little costume. He's only there because John Cena. And they might not even have actual John Cena. The WWE games can't even get John Cena to voice himself. You know? So, yeah. I don't care to guess straight up, but, like, interesting. You're gonna have a DC pick, shouldn't it, like, go back to, like, an Injustice game or MK vs. DC? This guy's been in none of those. He's been in none of those, and yet he's just here. Why? Why him? Of all DC characters, what a waste of a slot. I thought Joker was a bad pick in MK. I mean, Joker has like a pre-established history with the MK characters. God damn! And now you've just got these two characters that scream of oh well, we got no Superman. We need the evil Superman because we love doing that. He's so fucking lame. The MK characters, Quan Chi, again, hasn't actually got a new design. Again, it's just like a different take on like his vest thing. It's not a new design. It's been over 20 years, guys. You can't just keep making variants of the Deadly Alliance costume. Again, they still got the paint. And again, they used to have lore for it, which they completely forgot. So it's just always on his design, even though he needed Draman and Moloch's help to find the runes for that paint. But yeah, whatever. I'm happy to see Quan Chi, and I'm kind of glad that he's DLC, because I assume DLC means they're non-story, right? Because Takita's here, and I'll blur the face off. That's probably for the best, because he looks like shit. But yeah, I assume it's non-canon just because Takita's here, and obviously probably ain't born yet, you know? Because she's a youngin', so... Yeah, I assume for that it's the Shiryu founder, Takita. I don't think that's the case. If it was, I feel he'd be base roster, actually, because founding the Shiryu would probably be a story you see play out in the main story. Even if there is, like, I mean, even if there was a DLC story coming, which I don't know if there is, I hope not. I really hope not. But yeah. Ermac looks like fucking dog shit. Like we universally agree that Ermac designs have sucked for the past decade. Okay, maybe not the past decade. I feel like I don't like the MK9 designs, but I feel like that's more subjective. But MKX, I don't even mind MKX and Max like default Koshi. But yeah, like why are you going with this whole like crusty mummy look for him? Put the bandages back on. Why has he got no wraps on him? It's just so lame, you know. And it's super weird because we had the Link Crane Ninjas, literal palette swaps. Smoke, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero, they share the same design. I shit you not, they share the same design. Literal palette swaps except for the different masks, right? And yet, with Ermac, he's not even recognizable. So it's so weird how I decide, like, oh, we'll simplify them, and then we'll do whatever the fuck this is to Ermac over here. You're not getting many buyers for this. It's also weird because I feel Ermac should have just been base roster. I get like Quan Chi and like Takeda aren't in story, right? But Ermac just feels like he should be, although I guess no one's created him then. I don't know. Presumably they have bios. Maybe I'll give him the new lore. Because it has been for the other characters. Oh man. But yeah. In terms of the picks on their own, I think it's solid. You have a good variety there. But they're all fan favorites, but they're still varied. One, they're all characters that weren't in MK11. So it's not like the same old shit. Two, like the errors the characters come from. Quan Chi, MK4, Ermac, you know, classic UMK3. Takeda, MKX, you know, there's a variety there. And I do like those characters. You know, I'm a big Quan Chi fan, and I feel nothing seeing him here, because it's just Quan Chi again. Change his fucking design. He even has like the spiky shoulder pads from X. You've somehow made the worst version of this very simple design. Which, by the way, I don't even dislike the Day Alliance design. It's just the fact that it's been the same one, just with like X like changed the chest plate, and now Trials changing the chest plate. It doesn't. I don't care about the fucking chest plate. Just give me a new design. God damn. Like why? And then you got next to me is Ermac, who's unrecognizable. Meanwhile, Quan Chi is the same fucking design again. And I'm not, like, I couldn't really give a fuck about designs that much, right? But this is the only thing they're showing, alright? And yeah, the guest character is just boring. I don't know why Taki is not on the MK character side, but whatever. Moving on to the bios. Also, whenever I'm still asked, I'm going to put them on the website, so I go on my way to find them elsewhere. But these are official. They put them on the Discord. I think that's what they do. Which I can't confirm because I'm banned from that Discord. But yeah, these are legit. They might get changed because range was changed. Because they mentioned General Shao. Only for them to then show off a story scene of Reiko mentioning General Shao anyway. So yeah, nice one hiding that secret, guys. You really did a good job. You changed an entire character's bio, backstory bio, for that. Well done, bravo. And yeah, since we mentioned it, yeah, Reiko, Matara cameo, Matara again, it makes sense as a cameo because you can't make it fully playable. At least they claim they can't. We've seen there's alternatives, like we can have a Minotaur, but whatever. And Reiko, at least looks like his Armageddon self. It's like a shittier version of his Armageddon design, which is whatever. Gora's wearing the same clothes in that shitty costume, and that means the Shao Kahn, the Centaurs are presumably teamed up, and they're all on the side of Shao Kahn, basically trying to start this uprising, because he's racist apparently. He's got some prejudices. So, I mean, I assume that's race because there's a lot of race now. It's usually about race. How it has, I guess. I wonder what his species is. He'll probably just be an outworlder. They'll probably just make Shao Kahn a guy if I were to hazard a guess. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not interested in that shit at all. And it doesn't make... Again, he's General Shao. Reiko's General Reiko. Why are you bringing Reiko in the game where you make Shao Kahn even more like him? Kahn has his role now. It's dumb. Also, I think they're still doing the Kahn title since he's literally titled General Shao. And I assume he'll be called that in game. Like when you select him as a character, it'll just be General Shao. Or maybe just Shao, I don't know. But I don't think Kahn is part of his name in this game. Which just give it, that's a permanent change, just make it part of his name again after you dumb fucks retconned it. Just reckon it back. Come on. But yeah, Lee May, first constable Sundo. They made her a police officer in Outworld. They just have police. They literally used the term police. That's hilarious for one. For two, that's not a character. No, I mean, that's the thing. Lee May doesn't really have a certified role, so I hate this one the least, I guess. But it's when you get into the specifics. The first constable is Sundo. Sundo is the capital, apparently. Owl's capital. That's not Sundo. Sundo is a quiet little village next to the ocean or sea. It's a sea. But yeah, they're not like this big community. It's really dumb. You know, like yeah, you've used the name Sundo, you've used Lee May, but these don't align. I've seen a story cutscene of her talking to Liu Kang. She seems in character, right? You know, again, I'm not too concerned about the personalities for these three, except Tanya, because I'm worried that they might just have Tanya turn heel because all traitor. She seems loyal. She's invited by him, you know, but I don't trust NRS. Even though MKX Tanya was a genuine improvement, like by far the biggest character improvement NRS has actually done, because they haven't improved many characters, despite what people claim. They haven't actually improved many. But yeah, basically when she was on duty, like Jared was killed, definitely because of Shao Kahn. Khan definitely killed him. Like that was pretty obvious. And yeah, basically this fucking priestess group is what the thingies are, the Umgadi, which I don't like that title, priestesses, because they feel more like a warrior group for one, and secondly, boring. And it doesn't even matter because it's part of her past. You've given her a new law, this Umgadi law, and she's not even Umgadi anymore. So well done, guys. That's not confusing at all. But yeah, she's just a police officer. She's just the first constable of Sundo. And there's multiple constables because she refers to the police force as constables. I don't think that's how the titles work. I don't think that's how that works. But I'm not a cop. I'm not Striker. Yeah, it's insane how you have three characters who have been police officers now in MK. Like, you're not learned from Striker. I say Cabal was a good one. Cabal was a good change. That was a genuinely good change. Lee May here, I think she gains nothing from this role, honestly. It's not like terrible, right? Because she's still a hero. She's still like looking to protect Outworld. I think that's like the key thing you need with Lee May, but it's just unnecessary. You know, my take on her was always to give her like a proper like role in it, like a title, was Chiefess of Sundo, right? Just the chief of that village. Again, it's a village. I think that's a really important thing. I know people probably don't care about Sundo, but you're bringing Lee May back. You've got to be faithful to Sundo. Because then you're just using a name. So yeah, I'm not keen on it. I'm not gonna read the full thing here, but yeah, basically she's a constable. It's whatever. It's like character killing. You know, it feels like a role she'd take, but it's just dumb the context. And that whole past with the Umgadi stuff, I think, really weighs her down. Because I think that law will just drag the character down, you know? Because it's dumb. It's just a dumb thing. Also, the priestesses take you at birth. So, yeah, just claimed by the Umgadi, it says. Like, Jesus Christ. That's fucked. So your firstborn daughter is just abducted by the Umgadi. Like I don't think selectively, they're just all taken, it seems. Like every single firstborn daughter is just taken. So if Sindo's not evil, I'll be very surprised. And if she isn't evil, then she's going to come across as another Kotor, definitely a shit ruler, but you gotta pretend they're a good person. Because NRS can't write good rulers. It's almost like that's not a good position. Even now, like Outworld, you know, you can have, you know, just a straight up like king or queen or whatever, right? For that realm. But yeah, with shit like this going on around, like, yeah, no. That seems like a very evil thing. That's like Shao Kahn didn't really do that to our knowledge. He didn't like mass abduct people. He presumably forced people into the army, but it wasn't like your child will take you. I know when he conquered realms, he'd take children, right? You know, Jade, Katana, etc. But yeah, not like his own people, I don't think. So again, it's just another case where it's like, is this better for Outworld? The only reason it's better is that all the species were here naturally, except the Tarkatans, rather than their realms were conquered. That's the only real benefit, and that's a very dumb retcon. So yeah, I don't care for this. I don't hate it too much, honestly, but yeah, it's just boring. It's just a really bland, like the whole backstory with them guys. Don't care. No one cares about the Ungari. People are just talking about the Tarkat disease. No one gives a fuck about the Ungari because it's boring. It's just a boring group, a boring idea. I don't care about, And this constable thing, it's so. I don't see what it adds. I don't see what any of this adds to her. And again, she's a character who doesn't have like a proper role, like in terms of like status, like an occupation or whatever. But so it's not like necessarily. It wouldn't be a retcon hypothetically, right? If she just became a constable, right? But it's the fact that Sinnoh's like the capital city of Outworld, as it seems like here. And the fact that she has that weird past for Ungari, that weighs it down, rather than her just being a constable, even then I feel that's kind of lame. But, Now, Tanya is here. Chosen as an infant, her Outworld's firstborn daughters, again, the same shit, Ungari's. Tanya was raised by the Ungari priestesses. She's never known her birth family. That's erasure of her ambassador dad, who taught her martial arts and shit. Why would you change that? There's no reason to change that. Stop changing things for no reason. These are minor details. Why do you have to just fucking replace it for no reason? As she grew older and sort of initiates wash out, so they just so you could just fail your initiation after they abducted you. Yeah, I just hate them. They're super unlikable, like this group. Because they're just people who abduct other children. Like, it's just a really shit idea. That fierce state admiral Tanya passed the trials and became a full Ungari. Oh wow! What a privilege after being abducted as a child. Over time, Tanya became one of the Order's most trusted members. She was the obvious choice when it needed to choose a new leader for the royal family's personal guard. As an Ungari, Tanya just wanted to, same stuff. Yeah, that's why her bond with Princess Melina were renowned would cause a scandal. I couldn't tell you why, other than oh right, yeah, because Ungari, Ungari can't fuck basically. That's why. When I first read it, I was like, oh, so Outlaws was homophobic, but no. It might be both. I don't know. But yeah, at least, like, Melina x China is still a couple, At least there's that. How long will that last? I don't know, because, Melina turns evil, clearly. I find her tiny risk, not only her position, but also her life. I mean, that's cool, It's for love, guys. It's for love. I like that. I don't like the Ungari stuff. As I've said, I don't like this whole, I swear to this and that. Or, I was abducted as a child. And just the fact that it's a really generic idea that I've seen in multiple things, and they just shouldn't be doing it. I see no benefit to this. And again, it feels like an Edenian thing. Also, why is it only women? I think Rain's also like an all-male group as well. Why is that a thing? Why? Like, how does that work? She's loyal at least, which is a good sign. We're not getting traitor time, which is boring as fuck. At least I assume so. But yeah, I don't like the Ungari law. I really don't. And Countess Jade, we know that's her title. She's presumably just a cameo in this game or whatever. She's not on the base roster to our knowledge. Which I don't care about. I don't really care. This feels like a game she should come back for, but you think you'd have all the main Edenians, which I guess doesn't count Taven and Dagon anymore, but I don't know. And yeah, Countess, just a count, political status, right? And a high status would make sense why, you'd be connected to the royal family. So why isn't that Tanya? Why isn't Tanya the like a countess? Like Jane, that would actually make sense for not necessarily ideal, but that would still feel like Tanya. Again, it's like a warrior thing, like leading this warrior group. Jade's there like the Danian resistance and stuff. This feels like this should be Jade. It feels like they got Jade and Tanya's character roles completely muddled up. They just swapped them around or something. This feels like Jade, not Tanya. I think if it was Jade, I wouldn't like this, because again, I think the Avantgarde law is shit, regardless. But at least I understand it. With Tanya, it's like, this has no similarity to anything she was doing before. I think it's fine. I think Tanya's money could change drastically. I mean, you don't know much of what she was even doing before MK4, and even then MK4. Midway Tanya, there's nothing to really take from, because she just betrays people to join people, pretty much, right? She's just with different things. I wouldn't even, no, she's not even a traitor, really. She betrays a Dania to let Shinnok in, presumably out of fear, right? Like she comes off as somewhat sympathetic in those games. And then after that, she doesn't really betray anyone. She just hops from like villain to villain after they're defeated. So it's boring, and MKX like being loyal to Melina and stuff. Having a genuine cause and freeing with Dania, that was cool, right? And now it's just, oh, I need this group. Okay. Sure. If it was a cool group, I'd be all for it, but it's not. It's just not. So yeah, I'm really not a fan of this. Again, this one is one of the ones that feels very much like it could just be a new character. Nothing about this reminds me of Tanya at all, other than she loves Melina, which is nice. That's nice. But yeah, that's literally it. Now Baraka I have actually praise to give. Not beginning here. Baraka was once a respected outward merchant because, not a born Tarkatan, because they don't exist anymore. Bad life ended in an instant when he contracted the dreaded Tarkat plague, incurable, contagious, and the cause of severe physical deformities. Tarkat turned Baraka into a monster. He was cast out and doomed to live out his days in a colony of similarly afflicted outworlders. When Baraka first arrived, the colony was in disarray. His fellow Tarkans had given up and were ready to die. The hopelessness lit a fire in Baraka's heart. He spares no effort to bear his fellow Tarkatans' lives. He knows that as long as he fights, he will never truly be a victim. That is fucking lovely, firstly. That final paragraph is genuinely so good. This is the Baraka I really like. And I was so worried that we had lost that initially when I saw that trailer. So, 100%, this is Baraka. This is still Baraka. But the Tarkat law fucking sucks. Like it really does. It's dumb. Just the idea is really stupid of, it's a diseased group. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, they were referred to as mutants in usual games. That's before they were established as, Tarkans, before their species was fleshed out. And I don't even think it's supposed to be a callback to that, because they're not referred to as mutants here. They're just called Tarkatans, because they get their name off of the disease. The Tarkat disease, which is a very lazy name, by the way. So it's not even that. They're not just mutants, right? So I don't think it's a callback to that anyway. It's just a new origin thing. I guess because they kind of Melina be a clone, and by extension, you've now changed an entire race. Which, very concerning. Which, by the way, this isn't, the only case, because remember, I'm pretty sure we don't have Adenians. If you're a Adenian, you're just an outworlder now. So it went from not many outworlders to everyone being an outworlder, pretty much. And by outworld, I mean, the human outworld natives. Not stuff like the Tarkatans, who reside in outworld natively, but they aren't outworlders. But yeah, Baraka being a respected merchant, that's whatever. Again, I'm not interested in his life before being a Tarkatan, because that's not Baraka again. I don't mind that role of merchant now. Again, that's a harmless detail going off of this retcon. But yeah, it's just weird. You know, but I do think there's a lot of interest still in Baraka. You know, how he showed up with all these other people who had suffered this disease as him, and he's leading them, he's being a good leader for them, he's helping them out and stuff. I think that's very fucking wholesome, right? And I think that's like, again, the Taka disease is completely unnecessary to tell that story, you know? Because the Tarkhan people have been wrong throughout the whole thing. It's not like you need a disease thing. I'd argue it's more interesting. They've been around since the start of Owl, one of the OG species native to that realm, and they've just lived through all this shit. They haven't been in any position of power, like unlike the Shokan, the Centaurs, the Dragons, all these other original species about, all these native species. You know, they've just been trying to survive, right, for so long, you know. And I think that's, I don't know, right? I think being a disease, I think that makes him more sympathetic. But again, it's like, well, they're sympathetic either way. You've just made a really dumb contextual change to the Tarkans existing. Yeah, it's I'm still mixed on it because it sounds great. He like his role in the bio, but he says shit like already releases death. In your whole thing about like, no, don't die. We can better this situation or whatever. It's weird. It's really weird. But yeah, they're still sympathetic guys. They're not just treated as these monsters. So I'm relieved to hear that. That doesn't make the origins any better, though. That just means, okay, at least they aren't regressing their character development from games like MK11 and Deception. But yeah, I still think I'm overall negative on it still because it's such a big change and a bad one at that. It's dumb. It just fundamentally is silly. But yeah, I'm like the last paragraph is very nice. Like genuinely, it's by far the best like bit of story we have right now. You know, I actually care about Baraka in this game, unlike every other character. You know, and that's through this dumb retcon. So I am quite mixed on it. You know, I think it's impressive that they made me care about this Baraka still. So yeah, if his personality is the same, then that's cool. I think it is clearly. He seems in character, and even more so, focusing on, yeah, he wants to spare his people, and I love that. Again, Baraka is a genuinely likable character, and I'm hoping the cannibalism part of them has dropped. Another concern is if they are, then they are literal cannibals as well, because they were formerly human. The thing in Tarkans before was that when they went with the law that they were just a natural native species to that world, rather than being mutants or a disease species or whatever, was that, yeah, they're not cannibals in the context that they're eating their own people. They're eating other people. Which, still not good, don't get me wrong, but that makes more sense. But yeah, Baraka just mentioned that you turn into a bloodthirsty monster. So I guess that's like an effect, like you just become bloodthirsty. So like, I'm worried that like they're still like, they still do bad shit or whatever. But we'll have to see. Again, mix on it. I'm interested though. I'll give it that much. And people try defending it. Another defense I've heard is that, well, it's more interesting and unique than just, oh, they're a native species. But it's still dumber. I'd rather have a sensible, than just sensibly be a species that exists rather than this. Especially when, remember, keep in mind the context here of Fire God Liu Kang making this new era. Why? And I assume the disease is something out of his hands. It's something that like probably Shang Tsung caused, because like it seems like we're heading in a direction that this is like a Shang Tsung from a different time, and he's coming to set things along the right path to make things like how they are, to undo the work Liu Kang's done. But a lot of stuff has just changed that wouldn't make sense regardless. Like, for example, all the realms just being gone, everyone just being from Outworld. That's kind of messed up. And the most messed up thing is the Tarkans didn't exist then until Shang Tsung made a disease. So Liu just wiped out an entire race from his timeline. It's bad regardless, and that's the thing. When people go, well, it's Liu Kang's new timeline, so these aren't retcons. They still are, because I feel like a lot of these changes won't actually be explained or contextualized in this new era. Right? Because, keep in mind, all these changes are supposed to be caused by Liu Kang. And again, the disease, he wouldn't have created the disease, but this goes back to the fact that they didn't exist beforehand. And that means Liu Kang would have had to make the active decision not to have Tarkans in this timeline. Again, it's something you can't explain. Yes, you can have changes. I expect that. That is the whole premise. It's not a good premise. Again, like I said, I don't think it should have ever happened. But yeah, you can't explain that. You can't explain that. Unless Liu Kang is straight up evil, which he's not supposed to be, obviously. So yeah, I think the whole it's not retcons on it is dumb, because it is. Because this is stuff that won't be explained in the context of he used the hourglass to reset stuff. Because this is stuff that he wouldn't change. He wouldn't alter that. Maybe he'd alter how they behave if possible, so they aren't cannibals. I don't know. But he wouldn't erase them. That's fucked up. So yeah, I think it's an inexcusable retcon. And I will keep saying retcon, because it is. So try and tell me otherwise. That's all for this video. I'm freaking exhausted of rambling about it. I don't know if I do a second one, but I mean, this one means a lot to me, because I love Baraka, I love Li Mei, I love Tanya. Those are three of my favorite characters. So yeah, it does mean a lot to me. Darius is a character I didn't really touch upon him because we hardly see him, but it's just cool to see him. Yeah. Again, I don't like cameos at all, but if this reintroduces people to Darius and maybe you get some more fan support for him, then I think overall that's a positive. Because Darius is only one of the least liked 3D era characters, and I know there's a lot more 3D era characters coming back in this game, but they're all like the safe picks, like the ones that are already fan favorites that should have been back a long time ago, rather than like truly out there picks like a Dairu, a Darius. I wouldn't even say Hotaru. I wouldn't go as far as say Hotaru. Hotaru, I think, will be in the game probably as a cameo, because if they had Darius, they'll probably have Hotaru because he's more popular of the two. I'm not sure about Dairu. Probably not Dairu. But yeah, I think Hotaru. Expect Hotaru cameo. But yeah, I don't know if I'll do more. It depends on the cars. I might turn them off. I don't know. It's kind of funny to see you idiots in the comments initially, and then you idiots just keep going on and on and on and on and on. So that's all for this video. Still not excited for this game. But yeah, Li Mei, I like Li Mei, so there we are. Thanks for watching. Bye.